My name is Arnna. I am Academic Vice Principal here at Sumow School. We're a Cycle 1 school, and my role as Academic Vice Principal, I have worked here in the school for 4 years, 2 years in this role as the AVP. We've made many changes.
Yeah.
The biggest change has been most recently in our teaching of reading, both in Arabic and in English. We have made big changes there to support the progress and achievement of our students. The decision to make the change started from the data. We looked at the student data and we saw that our students were making very slow progress and very low achievement in both Arabic and English. And when we analysed our data, we saw that it was similar for both subjects for students. So we knew with that we would have to think differently about the way we teach, why we teach things, the resources we use, how we go about delivering the curriculum. I say everyone is responsible for the change, but when it comes down to making those final decisions, it really came, the leadership team analysed the data with the teachers, questioned the teachers, challenged the teachers, and came up with some ideas of what we had seen through the school as best practice. And then as a leadership team we came back and made a plan for change about what we needed to change, how we resourced the school and things. So made some decisions about the big picture and then how we would discuss that with the teachers and how we would bring it alive to the classroom and the school system. Probably the English teachers were one of two big groups that did affect. So what was happening is that we would have a particular, say, a reading resource, a reading book, that the English teachers were allocated. These are the grade 4 books. Whether their students were reading at the grade 4 level or not. And so the English teachers traditionally would take the book, take one lesson of one story for the whole class, and then everybody would have to do the exercises from it. It was, teachers would be checked to see if they were using the books, if the books were being filled up. But it was about filling up books and about getting through the stories as opposed to helping students learn and learning at their level. So what we did is we said we will no longer teach that way. We will take all the books and they will no longer be grade 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. They will just be books, and we will put them at the learning level, and then teachers will choose books that will work at their learning level. So teachers had to change completely the way that they were delivering English reading and go from teaching one book to a whole class to teaching individual students and groups of students at their level. And they found some very easy, went, yeah, okay, no problem, where others went, I'm not doing that, I can't do that, I will run out of books, you want me to change. So they were very upset and negative about it. So when we were doing this with the teachers, I think the teachers that were more open were those teachers with that open mindset, and not always the younger teachers, not always the older teachers, but teachers who had a belief in how they were teaching, but a willingness to work with the leadership team and an understanding of good pedagogy and what students needed. The teachers that were more fixed or more closed in their mindset were teachers who were not open to change, who found change very difficult. Some of them younger teachers, some of them older teachers. So we had to spend a lot of time with those teachers and say, what are you worried about? How can we help you? How can we support you? What things will you need to do differently? Some of those teachers changed and started to experiment, and we still have one or two who say, no, I am not doing that. Now we have come to the end of the first year of teaching in this way, and we are doing another big deep data analysis. And what we can tell you from the data this time is that those teachers that opened their minds and tried very hard the progress for their students has been incredible.
Yeah.
Some students in those classes have changed 3 grade levels or 4 grade levels in achievement. Teachers who remained with that fixed mindset, the data shows their mindset was fixed and their students have made low progress.
Yeah.
The impact has been directly on the students. Teachers who will work this way have the greatest achievement and progress. Sometimes, yes. Sometimes I think because we work from an international environment, and what I understand is, say, guided reading from New Zealand is not what a teacher from the US would understand, or a teacher from Britain, or a teacher from Ireland and things. So sometimes we would have to go back over things again and again and again to clarify, to think of different strategies to support teachers. And also because we come from a very international background, the way that we are trained is very different. So teachers that were trained in New Zealand have always been taught to differentiate, where teachers from the US have predominantly used a workbook. New Zealand teachers don't know how to use a workbook, where US teachers find it difficult to teach small groups with different books every day. So then we have to communicate with each other and try and build a common understanding of this is the way that we will do it here. And then still you have teachers that will say, I didn't know, I can't do that. So it is a lot about that ongoing communication. So, we had a target set that we would like our students to move 3 levels on the colour wheel. So moving, say, magenta, red, yellow in 1 year would be acceptable progress. So we had the starting data, we did the running record, how did they go, and then we measured again at those different points, and we've just done the end of year data now. Some grade levels had 92% of students all make progress at that level or more, where other grade levels where perhaps the teachers were less confident or their mindsets might have been closed, 3% have achieved that. So now we are having a big reflection time as to where we were consistent and inconsistent, so we can make those changes again for the new school year. I think some have adapted and adapted really well, and those that have opened their minds and said yes. We've got one teacher, both her classes, 100% of students have made the progress we needed them to make. We've got a group of grade 1, the classes that you've been working in. Both those classes, we've got 80% or more are reading at or above grade level, and we've got, I think it's 14 or 15% of those classes are reading 2 years above. So those teachers who have had the open mind have made excellent progress with their students. Those teachers who are not comfortable yet haven't made the progress. But what is nice is we now have the data and we can show them.
Completely.
And this is what your students have achieved. This is what the target was. This is how far you have passed the target or not met the target. How do we adapt that for your class, your team, the school next year? We've tried to make some short-term changes to make the big change. So we know we want the big change if we want the students reading at their grade level or above. So some of those smaller changes have been things like everybody in the school will do 5 minutes of reading and 5 minutes of writing to start the lesson. That was a very small change, but made a big difference. The bigger change has been teaching teachers to teach guided reading. How to teach guided reading, how to fit that into your schedule 3-4 days a week. That one is taking longer to bring in, to be more consistent, because it's more difficult to do. So some things are short to get going quickly, and others are longer term projects. Planning for the change. It happens. We started thinking like this at the end of last year when we analysed the data, and then we probably took most of term 1 to make a deep plan, and then started implementing the plan at the end of term 1, and then review points, monitoring, checking in term 2, term 3. So now we're reviewing again. We're making a plan over these few weeks, ready to start again for term 1, but starting faster, starting earlier. So yes, long-term planning to start, long time to start, and then it gets faster and faster as we get stronger in it. What sort of problems?
Yeah.
1, how do we bring the teachers on board? 2, things like when we brought all the resources together and we said, no longer are they grade 1, 2, 3, 4 grade 1 teachers. We had a small number that would say, but I will run out of books. We have too many children working at a grade 1 level now. We will run out of books. What will we do? And my answer to that, my response was, if we run out of books, good, because we know we have used them. We will just have to find other books to use in the school that are not these particular books that everyone wants to use. Those were some of the things. We were worried that because the books say grade 1, grade 2, grade 3, what if grade 5 boys are reading grade 1 books? But the boys in the end didn't care. They got very excited about reading a book that they could read. So some of the things we were concerned about and we saw as problems didn't become problems. There were other things like, where do we store the books? How do we give everybody access to these books? And they are just things we've had to problem solve through. How did we solve it?
Yeah.
Sometimes we had to be very creative, like we do not have enough shelves for all the books that we have, so how do we fit in another trolley? Where can we store extra books? That was just one of those very basic things. When one of a big problem was we would still have teachers wanting to take a whole class set of books, and then you would go into the classroom and the teacher would be using a whole set. So having to have those difficult conversations with the teacher, we've agreed to do it this way, why are you still teaching that way? And sometimes teachers don't like those conversations, but it is some of the conversations we have to understand where they need the next level of support.